Wouldn't you want to magically get better at surfing while you're not surfing? Wouldn't we all? Alas, no magic trick available. But we do have some good ideas. Welcome to the Wipeout Weekly, the daily podcast for beginners, wannabe surfers, and seasoned wipeout enthusiasts. No hype, no filler, just the highs, lows, and honest truth about learning to surf and finding your place in surf culture. I'm your host, Suze Wilson. Let's go out. Some of us don't have instant access to surf. Some of us only surf periodically. And some of us are permanently landlocked, but for an occasional surf camp trip. But I'm sure all of us want to stay fit, whether that's so our next surf will be less tiring or intimidating, or just because we want to live a tad longer. Apparently, practicing sports is good for that. That made me think about all the complementary sports we could be investing our time into when not surfing. You could argue that doing any sport will make you a better surfer because fitness. Yet somehow I don't think golfing will help. Feel free to prove me wrong. Which is why I pulled together a list of sports to consider. Everything you can do off the water to get better in the water. Surfing is basically 5 sports wrapped into one. A paddle sport, a sprint sport, a balance sport, a mobility sport, a strength endurance sport, plus another 5 pillars that you need to master to survive in the lineup. I give you 10 pillars of surfing. First, paddle power, because this is the engine. If this pillar collapses, so do you. What will work your shoulders, lats, and scapular endurance? Swimming, rowing, boxing, and rock climbing. I'm a big fan of climbing, especially for building confidence under stress. LOL. Sprint ability for the, oh God, go now moments. You think it's still paddling, but this is more of a panic paddle. A few sports that deal with sprinting are running intervals, HIIT, ski ERG, and my favorite, kettlebell swings. Next, balance and board awareness, also known as standing on a moving object while the moving object moves the other moving object. For some beginners, this is our kryptonite. But we can get better at balancing if we're willing to try out skateboarding or surf skating. Someone called surf skating surf mechanics without ocean consequences. But I assure you, there may be some other painful consequences resulting from meeting the pavement. SUPing, so stand-up paddleboarding, is a fantastic primer for balancing. But slackline may be taking it a little bit too far. There is no straight line between surfing and horse riding. But if you've ever tried Western riding, you will realize that how you hold your body, shift in the saddle, and where you look makes a massive difference in how you ride. I strongly recommend. Mobility, my least favorite. Hips, spine, ankles. Let's face it, your pop-up is basically a yoga pose you learned under duress. If you want to build your mobility and improve your thoracic ability, yoga is a natural choice, but so are martial arts and dancing. I sometimes wonder if longboarders take dancing lessons too. And yes, Pilates too. And for ocean stamina or durability, also known as how many lies your lungs can tell you before you quit. Any sport that will get you wheezing. Trail running, hiking, strength training, also breath work. Obviously not a sport per se. By this point, you might be wondering, you promised us 10 pillars of surfing. What possibly can be left? So much. And the most important stuff, really. Because what sports should you be performing if you want to nail down the sixth pillar of surfing, namely crowd competence? And by crowd competence, we mean being comfortable in the regular lineup as well as at some stupidly overcrowded breaks without suffering a meltdown. The land sports that match include basketball, that's for chaos and spatial awareness, roller derby, that's again for chaos and human elbows, pickup soccer, human traffic, and dodgeball, fear management. Next, assertiveness and wave commitment. That really should have been the very first pillar, aka taking your chances because any hesitation equals missed waves and danger. It's really the do it or don't do it pillar. The sports that correspond best for this one, for me, are martial arts and boxing plus sprint starts. Or you could just ask your boss for a raise. Patience and waiting skills are totally underestimated in surfing. But learn the art of sitting, watching, and doing absolutely nothing for long periods until suddenly doing everything, and you will be a better surfer. Standing in a line at Costco Friday lunchtime works for this. Or being badly delayed at the airport. Fishing is a natural fit. And behold, so might be actually golfing. We found a use for it. Mastering prediction and reading the field is what can improve your surfing massively. Think about it as predicting your opponent's movements. Who's going on this wave, who's snaking, who's clueless, and who's about to ruin your wave. Not to mention, is that wave going to be any good and worth going for? For that, try chess. Maybe defense in soccer or hockey. Or practice your spatial intelligence and pattern reading in LA traffic on a Friday afternoon. Now on to our final pillar, which we could call emotional regulation, or we could call it not taking yourself too seriously. It's no secret that to surf and be happy, you need a lot of resilience, tolerance, and occasional selective amnesia. If we remembered every wipeout or every snarky comment in the lineup, fewer people would surf. That's a fact. For the land version, may I recommend relationships, new ones and the long-term ones, parenting, any number of kids will do, or working in customer service at the Costco return window on a Friday afternoon. Or you can pick up any sport where you have zero experience and try to get good at it within a week. Emotional regulation guaranteed. And that's all for today. Check out the Wipe Out Weekly for our free newsletter, more stories and ways to connect with us. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow for more of the Wipe Out Weekly.